Hey everyone, welcome back to Devbyte. In the previous episode, we created our loading scene and async loading system. Now, in this episode, we're going to upgrade our player input from the old input system to Unity's new input system. The reason we're doing this is because the new input system is more flexible, easier to manage, and supports multiple devices like keyboard, gamepad, and mobile controls. So let's start. First of all, go to Window, Package Manager, and select Unity Registry, and search Input System. And you can see I have already installed the input system package 1.18. And if it is not installed in your editor, install it first. After installation, Unity will ask to restart the editor and restart Unity. Now inside the project window, right click, go to create and create input actions. And I'll rename it to player input. Double click to open it. Now that is our action editor. We can add input action maps and actions in this editor. Now, let's create a new action map, and I'll rename it to movement because we are just handling our player movement inputs. Action maps are basically groups of inputs inside movement. Let's create a new action, and I will name it move. And simply delete the above new action. Now, let's configure our move action. The first setting is action type. We'll set this to value. The reason is that movement is something that continuously changes over time. For example, when we press W, A, S, or D, we want Unity to keep sending movement values while the key is held down. That is exactly what a value action is designed for. It continuously provides data as long as input is being received. Now let's configure the control type. We'll set this to vector2. The reason is that movement needs two values. One value for horizontal movement and one value for vertical movement. Now let's create bindings. Click on plus sign and click on add up, down, left, right composite. Delete this no binding. Now we need to assign the bindings for our movement controls. Inside the two vector composite, we have 4 directions: up, down, left, and right. Each one needs to know which key should trigger that direction. To do that, we use the path field. You can think of the path field as telling Unity exactly which input device button or key should be connected to this action. Click inside the path field and press listen. Now Unity is waiting for an input. For up, we'll simply press W on my keyboard and add the W key. And Unity automatically assigns the W key to the up direction. I will do the same for the remaining directions, for down, for left, and D for right. Now our 2D vector composite knows exactly how to generate movement values. Save action asset and close the window. Next, select player input asset and click generate C# class. Then click apply. Unity will automatically generate a script for our input actions. Now let's go back to our player movement script. First of all, we need to create a reference for our player input class. Let's add private player input underscore input. Now inside awake method, we'll create an instance of our input actions. Let's say underscore input equals new player input. Now instead of input.getAccess, we will read values from our move action. So the old input are useless now. Let's comment them. Next, we'll create a new local vector2 for our move action read value. Let's say vector2 player underscore input equals, and we'll read value from move action of movement action map of player input action class. Let me split screen into 2 parts for better understanding. Let's say we want to access player input class underscore input dot access action map and its movement dot, then action of this movement action map and its move action. And finally, read value of vector2. And from vector3, remove horizontal and replace it with player underscore input dot x, and remove vertical and replace it with player underscore input dot y. Notice we are using X for horizontal movement and Y for forward movement. This gives us the exact same behavior as before. Now, the rest of our movement code remains unchanged. Next, we want to enable the player input. Let's create an onEnable method. And in this method, we'll enable player input, let's say underscore input dot enable. The reason we are doing this is because creating the input actions object is not enough. Unity also needs us to enable those actions before they can start listening for player input. And since onEnable is automatically called whenever this object becomes active, it is a perfect place to enable our input system. And when this object is disabled, I want to disable inputs as well. Back to Unity and select our player game object, and from it is rigid body component freeze while rotation as well. Before testing, quickly confirm our active input handling is set to both. Go to Edit, Project Settings, select Player Settings, and in Other Settings, scroll down and check if our active input handling is set on both to test new input system along with old system. Hit play button and test our new input system. Press W and our player is moving forward. Perfect. And as you can see, our player still moves exactly the same. The difference is that now we're using Unity's modern input system. This makes our project easier to extend later. For example, adding gamepad controls, mobile joystick controls, or custom key bindings becomes much easier. That is it for this video. Make sure to subscribe to Devbyte, and I'll see you in the next one.